Okay, we ready to start? I'd like to call the meeting to order. We don't, you don't have one?
I didn't realize it was over at the...
It's at the other office.
No, yeah,
we don't have a
Right.
key for
I
it.
didn't even bring the key with me because
Okay.
they were meeting. Sorry.
That's all right. So, we're going to start the meeting tonight. We're going to stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. We don't have a flag, but we're working under circumstance. Kevin, would you lead?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone.
So I'd like to thank everyone for coming. We apologize. We were in executive session meeting. We're talking about contracts and certain other items, all executive session material. I do apologize that we ran over about 10-12 minutes. As everyone knows, there's a lot of things going on in our borough today. So thank you all for attending. Becky, would you like to call the roll call? And I'd like you to ask for the mayor, and I'd like you to ask for the, and I didn't get to go over this with you.
Okay.
I'd like you to ask for everyone on the table here for their acknowledgement that they're here.
Okay.
That would be the solicitor, the engineers, Mr. Cannon, and the chief, and the mayors. Most important, the mayor. Okay? And I should have went over that with you.
No worries.
Becky has been very sick. She's just getting healthy again. She's coming over. Last week she was ill. We've had a lot of people and a lot of changes are happening in the borough. So you have to bear with us. We do need to get an American flag in here. I apologize for that. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sure, no worries. Councilwoman Fry? Here. Councilman Stein?
Here.
Councilman Bonadien?
Here.
Councilman Yonkers?
Here.
Vice President Londo?
Here.
President Brennan?
Here.
Mayor Foss?
Here.
Mr. Ashevik?
Here.
David Cannon?
Here.
Colin Lamper?
Here.
Ed Pledge?
I am here.
Scott Snyder?
Here.
On everybody?
Thank you. It is everyone.
I'll make sure everybody gets on the list for next time.
Yeah. Next month we'll do that. I think that's very appropriate.
Okay.
Comments to be limited to 3 minutes. We always let people speak. We ask that you avoid references to personalities, personal related issues. We have no speakers on the agenda. Anyone have anything to say? Anything to quickly say? Yes?
Emma Carter, it's 13th Avenue. Okay, so this has to do with one of the ordinances, so I'm just going to bring it up now because it's a result of it. So if you decide to to have the police officer, where you let 2 people go because there's the 2 that are able to do it. So if you do that, are you going to replace them, or is that the way that we're going to save money?
Right now, there's no intention of hiring anyone right now, and we'll work with the new chief. We have our chief now. We'll work with him as well, and there's going to be changes in the police department, just so you know. There's going to be scheduling changes. There's also going to be shift changes and area changes. So you're just going to have to wait and see what we do. Right now, we have no plans of rehiring anyone. There will be shuffling going around, and things will be changing.
And then, so we have a wonderful new chief temporarily, and you're looking within the department for the new chief, is that correct?
We are.
Okay, so that person moves up, whoever it may be, and are you going to replace that person?
We will. I don't know that we're hiring anyone, but someone will fill the positions.
How would you fill a position if someone's not being hired?
Well, you take someone from one position that's already there, you move them into another position.
So we're not
That
adding
doesn't
police
necessarily
officers.
mean we're adding police officers right now at this moment. That's something that council decides on. It'll be a council decision, it's not my decision. It will be a
Right.
collective
All
agreement.
council and mayor, right?
It will be a collective decision.
I mean, I would not want to see us go short-handed. If I don't have a vote anymore on this, but if I do see I think we're short, I'm gonna lobby these guys to hire some police.
And I can tell you that I've talked to the acting chief today, and I've talked to another officer in our police department about this same issue, just so you know. It's being discussed. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? I saw someone else.
Dennis Abelski, I'm currently the Vice President of MAPS Board. I know a lot of you are aware of our fight. We just wanted to bring that since the beginning of the year to the forefront. Some of our biggest issues are our increase in expenses such as PPE, wages, fuel, and we have staff shortages just like a lot of other places. We're losing medics to neighboring services because they pay more, so we have had to increase our wages. And as you know, we're the union shop. Also, a lot of our residents don't have health insurance, so that the membership drive doesn't really apply to them. And what we're getting in the way of reimbursement, and I know that from a personal thing from insurance reimbursements, are shrinking and expenses are going through the roof. So we would ask that if there's any future consideration for the ambulance, and even if there is a possible way to get a referendum, we would appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
Sure.
The membership drive you mentioned, so my mother was just rushed to the hospital last week, and she got an ambulance, and the medics were great, by the way. But it got me thinking, so the membership drive, my family does it every year, but I was just thinking, even if they didn't, if my dad called 911 for my mom, an ambulance would be dispatched all the same, correct?
That's correct.
So there's no incentive for residents to do the membership drive because they're going to get an ambulance anyway.
They're going to get an ambulance anyway, but if you're a member and you have health insurance that pays for ambulance calls, it doesn't cover, and don't quote me on this, it's either the deductible or the copay. I think you pay your deductible, you don't pay your copay.
Okay, so
But the fact that a lot of people don't have health insurance that covers it, sign of the time, that income is also decreasing.
yeah, I just wanted that there's some incentive to do it. I mean, you know,
Right.
supporting local business, I do it anyway, but
If you don't have an ambulance here, you're gonna have to pay for it from somewhere else.
right.
Believe me, all these years, I've been on the board for 20 years, it's been, what, 25 years, 30 years since MAPS has been around? I guess I'm one of the old guys now, but it's very expensive to get somebody else to come in. And all those years of basically paying minimum amount, like towards the bills and utility, or the insurance or whatever, Munhall has had a bargain forever. But sometimes you gotta pay the piper, and our backs are against the wall. And I hate to lose a good service because we are good service, and we literally are losing medics to neighboring services, such as McKeesport and Pittsburgh is always out there because they have, you know, more dollars to spend than we do. So if there was a way to put it in the budget, I know, you know, everybody's budget's strapped. Or if there was a way to put it on the ballot as a referendum, just as we did the library. We're in the business of saving lives. Okay, the library is in the business of keeping people healthy with the athletic club and educating people. But it's a vital service, and you're gonna need one, whether we're paying, and if you're gonna pay for somebody else to go in, if we go belly up like prison did, and we're very, very frugal. I know Prism's board, in the past, before Prism went belly up, they came courting us for 2 years, 2 times in my tenure, to try to bail them out, which would have meant we were going down with them. So, and I know West Mifflin paid huge money, and they still have a membership drive in West Mifflin. If you did a referendum, we could possibly do away with the membership drive, because whether you're a member or not, whether you're a resident or not, and you get hurt in Munhall or West Homestead or Homestead, and an ambulance is called, we're showing up unless our trucks are already busy. And then somebody comes in from like Baldwin or Brentwood or somewhere.
Yeah, I was just thinking that there's a way to incentivize people, because I don't know what your numbers are, but my guess is...
But to be honest with you, the membership drive's nice, it's not enough money.
Right, yeah, but my guess is you're probably getting 20% maybe of the population.
That would be optimistic.
Yeah, that's my point. Like,
Right.
if you gave people a reason to do it, you would increase your revenue pool,
Right.
and it would help.
Right.
But I
You're
don't
absolutely
know
right.
what the options are
Yeah.
for that.
Well, all I can say to that is, let's work together and see what we can bring some change. Sure.
How many people are on your board?
7?
7. Is there any council from Munhall, Homestead, or West Homestead on your board?
No, we're apolitical.
What's that?
We are apolitical.
Just curious.
In fact, I can't put a campaign sign in my yard.
So,
I have a question on that. Is it possible for your service, since you have licensed people there, to offer, like, when somebody needs blood drawn, instead of going down to the waterfront, and have like an office there, draw their
That's a whole
blood?
different ballgame. It's a whole different ballgame.
Is that possible though? To generate revenue to?
Probably wouldn't be worth the effort.
Okay.
They're expensive, we incur to have the proper facilities, have a license.
all right, so I want to move on with the meeting a little bit here. Do you have another question?
It's a two-part question. So there's a possibility we can be 4 cops short, correct?
No.
3.
It's 3 right now, but we're going to promote somebody to chief, correct? Because Captain Steiner said he may possibly retire, right? So we're going to be 4 cops short at some point, correct?
No.
No, he would be one of the 3.
So we want it to be 3 cops short.
Right now, it's probably only going to be 2.
All right, do we have an active list right now for new officers?
No.
So
If we do, the civil service would have that, and I don't believe we have a valid civil service list, do we, Scott?
We do not.
We do not.
So instead of pushing the buck down the road, why don't we test now? We know we're going to be short at some point. You know, crime is not going down. They're answering more calls every single day. So why aren't we testing now? Because in 6 months, it takes time to test physical agility, background checks. They're not going to be hired in 2 weeks.
Because they don't want to hire new ones, they want to save money.
You're going to save money because they're not getting the top rate of what the officers that are retiring.
We know that.
So we got to go forward. I mean, we have to think for the future. If we're going to be
Absolutely.
short, we're going to be short. Start the process now, and then we'll get to that point when we need them. We have the list. We can offer employment to someone when we get there, but we can't sit on our hands and like, oh crap, guess what? We don't have anybody.
We know that.
One thing I did want to add, there was a study done, I don't know how long ago, 2 years ago maybe, based on our population, we are actually overstaffed. So it looks like this is a net deficit. It's not. It's actually based on the study we had done. Not to say we don't want to replace them, I'm just saying it's not looking like any person walks out the door that's a negative. Well, no, we are actually above what we needed to have in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? I'd like to get started here with the meeting. And we can come back at the end of the meeting and address this as well and talk about this as long as we want. So that's why we're here. I'd like to start off with something that's not even on here. It was supposed to be added. I've had 2 gentlemen come from general cleaning just to give us a quick rundown of a proposal to clean the new borough building. And if Eric and Dale would like to stand up and introduce yourselves, and just give us your names, and just give us a general speech on what you'd like to talk about.
We're from General Cleaning. We're right down by the waterfront. So we've been here since 1985. We do window washing, we do janitor service. We're flexible because I think Joe was talking about he didn't know what was going to be open, what was not going to be open. So we had given him a price on what he thought we needed to do. So if we need to change that at any time, we can do that. That's kind of what we do.
So I think the question was, we're really not sure what we're even going to be needing in this building yet because of usage and
That's why.
And that was one of the reasons in speaking with Joe that him and I thought we would like to talk to you guys,
Yeah.
your local company.
Yeah.
You do outside windows for the building and whatnot.
Not yet, we didn't do that yet.
You can address that.
Yeah, we can address that.
And
Now, we do clean the borough of Homestead building.
Okay, and also that you were flexible in
Yeah.
our needs.
Yeah.
So,
So if you want us to do 3 days a week, 5 days a week, if you want us to do so many hours on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we can do that. And if you want to do less hours on a Tuesday, Thursday, because you don't think you need that full amount of time, we can do that too. So we can be very flexible on what you want us to do, provide, what service you want us to provide for you.
and I haven't had a chance to look at your proposal yet as far as all the proposals, but there are several other proposals that we've received. I think there's 2 others. And we'll compare them and look at them.
Okay.
And sit down and meet with you again, and we can do a walkthrough if you want to do a walkthrough with the building, it would be great.
We can do that, yeah.
So I just wanted to give you a couple minutes just to introduce yourselves to council, talk to everyone involved, and certainly we can meet again.
That'll be fine. And I think you have my phone number now.
Okay, we do.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Thank you for coming. And it's always important to put a person's face on a name, and I always like to talk to people. So I appreciate you coming. Okay, we have no speakers tonight. I gave the crowd the opportunity to speak a little bit. So we'll start with the mayor. Mayor, do you have a report?
Just a short one, hopefully short. But, first of all, you guys are looking good tonight. My game's gonna have to dress up a little more, you know. I want to compliment, the new council, how they dressed tonight, of course, you, Rick, and Kevin. So. But, the discussion on the police, and the study was done 2014. And I know at the time, I remember I was there in council, it did say that we were a little overstaffed. Do I always agree with it? No. Do I agree with it in 2022 with how, the world has changed a lot? We're going to need to keep the police force strong, Will we replace every position? I don't know. We're losing probably 3. We have lost the chief already, and we may lose 2 more soon, and possibly another, possibly that is under the drop program.
So there could be possibly 4.
So,
I
could be
stand
for
corrected.
the drop program too, with
Yep.
one officer.
Right.
So we, I think we're gonna have to keep our police department strong, keep it where it is. 2022 is a different world from when that study was done in, I believe, 2014 or 15. So we're really gonna keep that strong. And I want to compliment the street department on the good job they did. On Monday, our streets are one of the best around, there's no doubt about it. I want to compliment the chief, he's doing a good job, he's filling in for the last couple of weeks, and he's done a good job, and he's real easy to work with, he comes in and helps us, he does a lot, he's helped me as the new mayor immensely so far, and I want to thank him, and I want to thank all the council for working with me, and basically I'm looking forward to working with the council. We have to have this thing as a team, we all have to work together, and we need the residents' input, so it's important. I see a nice crowd here tonight, to see people out here asking questions, and people showing interest in their boroughs, for the maps. You know, maps, is an important thing here for this borough also. We need that. To go out somewhere else would be probably not a good move and possibly a lot more costly than it is. So it is important to keep maps here as strong as they are. And I have a question, too, on the maps question. Didn't we discuss a donation last year that we were working on? Or is that for this budget?
We,
You know, it cost them like 25,000 or something?
we have that in this budget this year.
It's in the budget for this year,
But
right?
there was nothing discussed for last year.
Nothing discussed
And
last year, right.
If I remember correctly, the year before, we made a payment to MAPS, and that was for the prior year.
Right, and I think we discussed, what, 25,000 for this year?
I believe that's the number that's in the budget.
Yeah, we're looking at right now. So, I mean, last year we, maybe dropped the ball a little bit. It didn't come in, but, we do have plans for this year for the donation to come in the budget. And, that's really all I have at this time.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Solicitor?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The items I have for this evening were discussed in executive session. Of course, I can't discuss those here. And then the primary items are actually part of the agenda, which are new ordinances. They are items number 11, 12, and 13. And at that time, I will conduct public hearings and address those ordinances. So at this time, I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Engineer?
Hi, nice seeing the new council here. I prepared a lengthy report for you guys. I left it, it's kind of an annual report or State of the Union in terms of everything that I've been working on here. Because I know this is a new council and just wanted to give you guys all the information. So I separated all the projects into ongoing or active projects and then potential projects and grant work. So as far as the ongoing projects, we obviously have the borough building. As you can see, it's basically 99% complete. I've given you our remaining obligation there. That's the money that's left. It's $21,000. That'll, is still owed to the contractor. The utility package for this building, it's pretty self-explanatory. The project was delayed due to some supply chain issues. The MS4 permitting, we typically file an annual report every September. There's also a lot of, I've met with Joe and Dave and Bob Vicey at length over the years about the borough's obligation there. If anyone is interested in that, I'm glad to pick that up or shine more light on it. And then our block grant projects that we do through the COG. We have a bid opening for a new project for this year in February that I'll be attending. So like I said, all the information is there. More importantly, I just wanted to touch on these potential projects quickly. But it's all for your consideration. These are projects that most of them we've received grant money for already. And some I've been authorized to start working on. I want to make sure that everyone is okay with that. Others, we haven't started yet. But in 2019, 2020, we applied for a small water and sewer grant. We received $200,000 grant. The grant expires June 30th, 2023. It's for some drainage improvements along Main Street. We have not started the project yet. Again, I can talk more at length of these, but I'm just going to go through them quick. The RCAP grant that we received, we are this close to finalizing all that paperwork. I'm still working on putting some last things together, some steel certifications, some certified payrolls for this project that gets submitted to the state for final review before the borough is reimbursed their $1 million. The multimodal grant, we were authorized to start work on at the December meeting, but again, I'm bringing it up. I just want to make sure that everyone is on board with us doing it and moving forward with these projects. We received $300,000 to do paving here on Raymond Bodner Way, which is really just the the paved road here that serves Westfield and the new Borough building to the south. The grant will not cover the parking spots for the field along West Street or under the awning. That paving would have to be paid for by the borough if you wanted to do it, but it would cover all the striping for the lot and all the paving along that road. And again, that's $300,000. It should cover most of the project, but it's not gonna cover all of it. Another one that we've all talked about is we got $221,000 from DCNR for Parks project. So we had talked about it. Initially it was submitted for 3 sites. We thought that was a little ambitious for the amount that we were awarded. We were kind of told and discussed, hey, let's focus on 2 parks. That ended up being Troutman and Vine Street. Really make those special. I went over some plans with Joe. Joe got some initial quotes from vendors about playground equipment, and that's where the project stands. So again, I'm happy to pick that back up, and we can get going on it. I'm just putting it out there as these are all outstanding. And then two last things here. I'm sorry for my lengthy report, but there was a lot going on. We submitted at the end of 2021 another application for a GEDTF. It's a gaming money, it's casino money. It's for a sewer separation project. We worked with Jackie Coles and the Sewer Authority on the application along 22nd Avenue. It's for about $300,000. We are awaiting news of the award. And then finally, since I've been the engineer in Munhall for over the last 6 years, we've done a paving project, at least one paving project every year. Typically, we start talking about that now. Early spring, if Donna Dreschman was here, she'd be happy to point out that early spring is the time to start paving projects, and she doesn't want to see them out there with flashlights in November. But so again, happy to talk about that, and I apologize for the lengthy report, but you guys have the report. If you want to call me and follow up with anything, or if I can answer any questions now, I'm happy to do that.
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
The building here has not had a final inspection with a punch list for the contractor. So I've had people ask me about, scratches in the walls, dings here.
Not all the way done.
What needs to be completed? I know we have something that needs to be completed for handicap facilities. So can you give us just a quick synopsis of what needs to be done as far as the handicap facilities, those 2 issues?
So there was an ADA inspection that Dave Cannon attended. I did not. They noted, I'm just gonna guess a number here, I would say about 12 to 18 deficiencies based on the report that I saw. It was minor stuff, like stuff in the laboratories, like a grab bar was not installed at the proper height, or a faucet wasn't at the proper height. My understanding is that the plumber and the electricians have been back, they've corrected the majority of those deficiencies. The architect does have a punch list. The contractor has been working on it. So you're correct, Mayor, there needs to be a final walkthrough, just when the contractor is more reasonably complete. We also need all the O&M information. When I say O&M, we need manuals on how to operate the backup generator and the air conditioning units, and how often those have to be serviced. There's some other final documentation that we need. I would say we'd be getting that scheduled within the next couple of weeks. But obviously, if you walk up the stairs and you see the blue tape, that's stuff that's been dinged that they need to come back and touch up and fix.
Well, I know several members of council would like to walk through with you guys and go through the walkthrough and see what needs to be done.
Okay.
They brought that up to me. So we'd like to be notified when that is going to happen. So, could you let us know when that happens? So
I will.
that if anyone of council wants to attend, or if you want to walk through with them at all,
Yeah.
anyway, if they want to have their own separate walkthrough and you want to go through something, if you want to set something up with Becky, and bring any of you councilmen would like to walk through, I don't see any problem with that. Craig, is there a problem with that? Okay. It would just be
Yeah, what I'll do is, I'm gonna call Felix Cardella. He was the architect who designed the project, and then, we'll try to set up a time with Becky here.
that would be good.
For the next couple weeks.
One thing that I spoke with Joe about was this room was about this video system here. Is there a screen that pulls down, supposed to pull down?
Yeah, there's a projector
Okay.
there.
Is that operational?
It is, and the company that installed that, what's their name, Boomer? Telephonics.
Yeah.
They do a lot of work with the police. They're over here routinely. So with the AV stuff, I'm also glad to reach out to them, and, you know, it would probably be best to give, you know, I don't know if it would be Dave or somebody from Public Works, a tutorial just on how to work some basic
Could
stuff
you-
like
Is
that.
that gonna be able to film the council meetings?
That's just a projector.
That's just a
Just
projector.
a projector?
There are areas like the police department's outfitted with, you know, closed circuit television, but I don't think there's other I don't think council chambers are, but I'd have to do that.
We can check into that.
Yeah.
And I particularly would like to get a long pointer so that I can point up at the screen.
I'll get you one.
You won't be able to see it.
We'll tell the architect to design one for you.
I know that Rick, that we don't have the Wi-Fi on over here yet either. We're waiting to kind of get a final, okay, this is when we're target date for move-in, so that so we're not paying too long on overlap between
Okay.
that building and this one.
To do the walkthrough with telephonics, it would probably make the most sense to, you know, wait until there's
Yeah, have all
Wi-Fi
that. Yeah,
communications in the building.
yeah.
But Scott, I'm assuming that, you know, someone from the police department is gonna need a lot of tutorial about, you know, how all that new gear works, you know, at that time too, so.
So just so the public knows, the police have gotten the keys to the police station down there. They're looking and seeing what's going on there, so we're starting to slowly get a feel as to what's going on here.
Yeah, but short term, I will get a walkthrough schedule with
Okay.
myself, Felix Cardella from TK Architects, and any members who would like to join us.
And the
Thank you.
accounts are already set up for all of that. It's just that I have to flip the switch.
Yep.
So I'll just go ahead and do it, and we'll just get that done so we can get set up. Okay.
Any other questions for the engineer? Public Works Supervisor, she's not in attendance. Do we have a
There's no report.
report? Okay. Just so the public knows, my intention, is for the meetings, once we have our board set with, all of our different committees and subcommittees, I'm gonna have a councilman who's on that subcommittee give a report on each thing that they are in. We've been under a lot of stress and strain over the new year, from the holidays and starting the new year. But I promise you that next month, we will have an American flag in our meeting chambers. And we will have these committees filled out and put in place. And the chairman or a representative of the committee will give us a rendition of what they've been working on in the last month. This is our first meeting of the year. I think we need changes on how council speaks to the public and how the meetings are run. I think the public has every right to ask questions and have input at the meetings. And I think that we all, as council people, have as a duty to take forth whatever we're working on, whatever committee we're in, and give a report on what we're doing and what's happening in our town. So, moving forward, police chief,
I believe all council has copies of our stats, and Becky should have extras for any member of the public that wants any. And since there were no major incidents since the last meeting of council, I have nothing further to report.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Pledge?
Thanks, Mr. President. Fortunately, December was a relatively quiet month for us. We only had about 27 calls. 2 of them were house fires, but there were no injuries, and we put in about a total of 1,800 man hours. I had a report to council. You should have that. I will, at the next meeting, have the annual report for 2021 ready for all you guys to review for what went on last year, our total man hours, calls, and the whole 9 yards, like I do every year for you. I do want to thank Station 201, Munhall Central, for running Santa around town. He visited every street in Munhall. They do it every year, and you would not believe the people and the kids that turn out to see that. It's unbelievable. So thank you guys for that. And at this time, I don't really have anything else to report. Does anybody have any questions for the fire department?
I would like to just comment that my own grandchildren, for many years, were 17 down to 8. They have thoroughly enjoyed seeing Santa on a truck. You have no idea, but I think that's part of the small town, you know, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, and I hope you're able to keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Code enforcement?
You have a copy of my report. I'll briefly read it. Building permits, 5 were issued. Occupancy inspections, 21. Code enforcement, 1 for motor vehicle. It was a RV down Ravine Street that was sitting there. It was kind of out in the traffic, so I had them removed it. Dwelling units, there's 2 sisters. I got notification that there's 2 sisters living in a house that don't have any running water, so I'm still working on that. And got a complaint about infestation. A gentleman up the co-op has bed bugs, and he won't let them go into spray. So I'm still working on that. And 15 court hearings. Out of the 15 court hearings, 10 were found guilty because they didn't show up for the hearings, and 5 I had removed because they corrected the situation.
Thank you. Finance Chairman, Rainey Fry, would you give us a little rendition of our finances?
I'm happy to tell you that I received this from Brentwood Bank today. After our 13 accounts, the grand total we have is $1,095,302.95. I also would like to just state, I didn't realize that, who was it? It was somebody who gave the report about all the grant money that we received. I did talk to Jamie, our grant writer, today, just to have a general idea of what she was doing or what we were getting, because I didn't know. And on the one loan that we were asked to waiver our share of $125,799.99, that was waived. So we will not be responsible for that. That was waived as of last Friday, which is wonderful for us. She is, I said, can you just share with me a couple of some of the projects that you worked on in 2021? The playgrounds that we talked about, that was one of those, and we, God willing, in the spring, we'll start on that. The Raymond Gardner Way, as we stated, we'll get started with that. And she is looking into, on the list, a small water and sewer grant for our infrastructure, $125,000 for site improvements at the new borough building, a recycling award grant for $6,000, and she said we only would have to pay back 10%, which is phenomenal. And she seems to be doing a fine job. And she's very open to anybody who wants to call and ask her questions about anything. So I am finding out daily more and more and more, and I will share with you each month more and more and more. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, comments on items of consideration? Any comments? Okay. Motion 1 to accept Councilman Mark Fallon's resignation from council effective today, January 19th, 2022, per his letter to President Brennan and council. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Votes unanimous. Motion to appoint individuals for open seats on commissions and boards.
Motion.
I don't know that we're ready to do this motion, honestly. It was something I wanted to put on here. Honestly, the last 2 days, I was hoping to have my chart filled. I have quite a bit of it filled out. Run into a couple personal problems and not had the time to do that.
I rescind my motion and make a motion to table it.
Second.
Motion tabled. I'd like to let council know that I have a pretty good list of this. I'm going to work with Becky here and send it out this week to everyone involved. And if someone wants to change a position where they're at, so be it. It is a little bit of a hard thing because I had a lot of it worked out and Mr. Fallon was in there. And with his resignation, it sort of threw things into a little bit of a shuffle. So we will, by next month, have that done. I apologize for not doing that. It is sort of important because I do want the councilman to head up these spots and give us something of a report on the commissions that they sit on. All right, so motion number 3, we'd like to add President Rick Brennan, Vice President Kevin Ondo, Councilwoman Maureen Fry, Councilman Dave Youngkins as authorized signers for all accounts with Brentwood Bank. I need a motion.
Motion.
Maureen? Second?
Second.
Second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? No nays, it's unanimous. Motion to reopen the 2022 budget. I need a motion.
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Motion by Kevin, second by Ms. Fry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All in favor? We need to do this. There are several items in here that need to be looked at, and we need to discuss it with all council. I believe we have a separate meeting set up to do this. Do we have a date set for that meeting?
It's supposed to be next Monday. If it was in the Valley there for tomorrow, correct?
I thought we advertised it, right?
Yeah, we did. I'm sorry. My mind is blank. Sorry. I'm
Okay.
still getting my head together.
Believe me, we are all working under stress.
Hopefully that's Monday.
I'll confirm that with you.
Oh, thank you. So we'll get that date to everyone and have it out. It is advertised in this week's Valley Mirror. And Councilman Bodadian just informed me that I should be asking if there's any questions on any motions first. So I apologize. So I should ask first, are there any questions on the motion? And then I ask for a motion. Thank you. Correct. I've already asked the public for if they had any questions on anything, so now this will be addressing to council. Thank you. I'm new at this. Okay, motion number 5. Motion to approve payment to Patrick Campbell in the amount of $36,410.56 for 2021 and 2022 time owed. Any questions on the motion? I need a motion. We need a motion.
Motion.
We need a second.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Jason. We're all freezing here. Our minds are all shut. We need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All in favor, the vote is unanimous. And just to let the public know, we've scrutinized this, and this is all indeed what Mr. Campbell Chief Campbell is entitled to. Been gone over 3 or 4 times. We did this in executive session as well. This is what he's entitled to, and certainly we wish him the best. He is our new magistrate, and we thank him for all the years' service. Motion number 6, motion to authorize Solicitor of Ashevik to apply liens to 414 Emerson Avenue, lot and block 132-R-214 for fire expenses. You need a motion?
Motion.
Or a question on a motion, I'm sorry. Any questions? This is the home on Emerson Street. Motion?
Motion.
Second? Second. Second by Rich. Motion by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor. Motion to change the authorized signers for the multimodal grant replacing Harvey, Ingalls, and Joe Gravola. Any questions on the motion?
Yes, if we do make a motion for somebody to be a authorized signer, is the new borough manager going to be a signer?
I would imagine he would be. I think he can be added. We not, it should probably be the president of council. Should be the signer.
You need to have someone's name on here now in case something comes in.
Right.
Before you have a manager. So really the motion, it's just my recommendation, the motion should be amended to add on the replacement authorized signer.
Okay. So I would be more willing to do that. Would anyone else like to be willing to do it?
I'll do it.
All right. Dave, we'll have you sign. So the motion will read to replace Harvey Ingalls and Joe Gravola with President Brennan and Councilman Youngkins.
Okay, got it.
Okay? Any questions on that motion? And I'm not really even sure how this all works, but I will be informed of it. So a roll call vote or a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor. Thank you. Motion number 8, motion to change the authorized signer for the RACP grant, replacing Harvey Ingalls and Joe Gravola with President Brennan and Councilman Youngkins. We might as well have the same people doing that.
Got it.
Any questions?
I'm not sure, is the rate, is it RACP or is it RCAP?
It's RACP. And
This
we
is
just call it RCAP because it's quick and easy.
I know we call it RCAP. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure the 2 letters
They
were
are one and the same.
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
No questions? We need a motion.
I'll motion. Are we talking about number 8?
Number 8, yes.
Okay. And probably none, right?
Yeah, we'll do the same thing.
Okay. Just so I'm following
I
that.
don't know.
Thank you.
We need a second.
We need a second on the RCAP signatures.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? All in favor. So, motion number 9, motion to change the authorized signers for the Smale Water and Sewer Grant, replacing Harvey Ingalls and Joe Gravola with President Brennan and Mr. Councilman Youngkins. Any question, or from now I'm telling you I've been doing that wrong, so we're gonna make any motion, I need a motion,
I motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor? Now I ask for questions. All right, any questions on this then? Okay, very, very personal.
Who's second? I'm sorry.
Dave.
Dave. Okay, thank you.
So no questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Takes a village.
Hey, it does take a village. Is my wife here? A motion to appoint a point of contact for the DCNR grant. And I believe that the name was Dave Cannon, is that
That's
correct?
who's been suggested, yes.
Yeah, that name has been suggested to do this. So let's put Dave Cannon in there. I need a motion. Motion. I need a second. Dave, you're not getting a second.
Second.
Second, I got a second.
Wrong day.
Any questions on the motion? David, you're in.
So I changed the motion to say, motion to appoint Dave Cannon as the point of contact for the DCNR.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Motion number 11. We did vote. Yeah. We had a first and a second from this side over here, I believe.
No, I'm sorry, yes, yeah, we had Councilman Ondo and, or Vice President Ondo and Councilman Youngkin's votes first and second. Motion and second, that last one.
Yeah.
All in favor?
We did vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. All in favor?
Thank you.
You're in down, Dave, for sure. All right. Motion number 11. Motion to approve ordinance 1608, changing the vesting period for the non-uniform plan of 5 years service. So I'm going to ask the solicitor to go over these three next ones and do this. Do we need to have a hearing on these?
Yeah, and I'll be happy to do that. That's traditionally what I do with the new ordinances.
All right, so would you
Mr.
please
President,
take this over and handle this?
I'll be happy to do it. Thank you.
I'm really pushed at the last.
I'll do it, and when we're concluded, then we can have, council can act on this. So, I'm gonna remove this so people can hear me better, so we have three new ordinances. The first one is 1608. I'm gonna conduct a public hearing for all three at one time. So what that means is, I'll describe each ordinance with a summary of what is being considered by council for adoption, making it a new law of the borough. But before they do that, we have a public hearing so council can ask, the public can ask questions and make any comments which council could consider in their vote. So the first one is 1608. This is a change to the pension plan for the non-uniform, meaning not the police. This is the other pension plan, Public Works, and those other members that participate in this pension plan. It's changing the vesting period to 5 years. This is arising out of a new contract that was just negotiated and bargained between Borough Council and the Public Works Union. And this was one of the changes that the union had requested, and it was agreed to as part of the negotiation process. So changing the vesting period to 5 years. And that doesn't mean that someone after 5 years quits and leaves with a pension. You still don't get a pension until you reach the normal retirement age. And if you only work 5 years and you're vested, it will probably be pretty small and you'd have to wait till you're 65. But that's what it means to be vested, that you would have that option, or you can take your money out. So that's the first ordinance. Second one is 1609. This is also a change to the pension plan. No, I take that, yes. This is relative to the police employee pension plan. First one was Public Works. This is for the police. This was something that was bargained for with the police. The police requested this. They agreed to this. This is an early retirement incentive. Right now, in order to be eligible to retire as a police officer, you have to be 50 years old and completed 25 years of service. We're not changing that at all. Those same basic requirements are still there. But as an incentive to perhaps entice people that have reached that the retirement criteria, the Borough Council has agreed with the union to offer them some health benefits in reducing increments. For 2 years would be family, then 2 years husband and wife, and 2 years for individual, or if you reach retirement age of 65 before 6 years, then it would end, and so forth. And there's an option also to waive that and take a payment of a lesser amount. So that's the incentive. That doesn't change the pension plan, so it didn't require an actuarial study. This is something, again, that was negotiated between council and the union, police union that they were interested in, and this is to make a change to the plan, temporary change to allow that. You know, that's a limited period of time. Those eligible officers that want it would have to elect it. Last one again, 1610 is also pension related. This is also stemming from the recent contract that was negotiated between Borough Council and the collective bargaining unit for the Public Works Union. One of the things they wanted and was negotiated between the parties and agreed to was to change the definition of early retirement age. So what had been in the pension plan for all these many years was that in order to be eligible for early retirement, there's an early retirement age, and that was defined as you had to be 60 years old and completed 20 years of service for the borough. They wanted to add a second definition, and that's what was agreed upon. So you could be 55 years old and completed 30 years of service. So now there's two ways to reach this early retirement age definition. 60 years old, 20 years service, or this is the new one, 55 years old and 30 years of service. Again, this arose out of the negotiations between council and the union, and that contract has been approved. This is simply implementing these changes by ordinance under the pension plan, which is required to do. It's just the last step to conclude that negotiation and those changes that were bargained over. So, I know I summarized all three, but at this time, does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Number 11, ordinance, proposed ordinance 1608.
Yes.
For point of information, you're changing the vesting period to 5 years. What was it previous to this?
It was, actually was...
9.
It was 9. It was 9 for some employees and 10 for others. So it was a little bit inconsistent, but there was a quirky change made a long time ago. But that answers your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Just to explain what vested means, so can you explain vested
Yeah,
for people that don't
I'll be
understand what
happy to do
vested
that.
means?
If you work for an employer that has a pension plan, I consider yourself fortunate because most people don't have that option, and particularly if you work for a private employer. What that means is pension, and I don't want to get too fundamental here, but a pension means when you retire, if you've earned one, you get a fixed set of money. It's a defined benefit plan. So when I retire, whatever the calculation is, I get a check every month. It's not like a 401k plan where I've saved money. It's money I saved, but I don't have a guaranteed stream of income. That's what a pension is. So when you get hired by a public employer such as Munhall Borough, it's more common that you have a pension as an option. Vesting means there's a required period of time you have to work to be eligible to earn a pension. So if someone quits or leaves the borough for a different job before they have vested, they have no right to a pension. They get the money back they put in, because it's their money, whatever they contribute, and they go on their way. Once you've vested, that means you're entitled to a pension. So if I get hired in the Public Works Department, I'm 25 years old, and I work for 5 years, and I vest, and I decide I'm leaving, I have an option. I can get all my money back I put in, reinvest that in another retirement plan, or I can say, no, I don't want to leave it in there, and I'm electing my deferred vested pension. I gotta wait till I'm 65, and there's a formula that figures your years of service, what was put in, and they calculate then, an actuary calculates your benefit. If you only work for 5 years, you will get that pension because you vested at 65, but it's gonna be pretty small. So the longer you work, the more money that's contributed, the bigger your pension will be. I think that answers you. Does that answer your question?
No.
Does it?
So what I was getting at is,
Okay.
for instance, we worked at the town. When we vest, it means that the county puts in a certain percentage of money, so that when we reach that vested level, there's a percentage of money. What I was sort of getting at was, does the borough put in money after the vesting time, to contribute part into that pension plan? That's what I was trying to ask.
Okay, well, now that I better understand your question, so the borough contributes money to the pension plan of the employee, and then typically there's a matching requirement. I don't recall what we have, where the employee puts some in and the borough puts some in. If you leave before 5 years, you get your money back out. You put in, but what the borough put in, they get back. You haven't earned that, you haven't invested. Once you hit the 5 years, then you've earned that money, and that can be calculated into then you're gonna take a pension. Is that,
Yeah, that answers.
okay,
I just wanted people to understand that
yeah,
it's not just, the borough does contribute.
of
you know,
course.
During that vested period after that.
Yeah, the borough contributes every month. Someone that has a pension entitlement, they're putting in money every single month.
I
Okay,
have one question.
yes,
Yeah, can I?
yes,
Regarding Ordinance 1608,
yes.
this is strictly dealing with public works, am I correct? Or
Yeah,
is this any employee, and includes the public works, and any other employee employed by Munhall?
no, it includes any employee that's employed by, let me say this, any employee that participates in this pension plan. So it's not police, so it's everybody besides the police who are in your pension plan, in this pension plan. It's not police.
Okay, so you either get a pension or you don't get a pension. You're either in the police union or in the public works union. But if you're just an employee, okay, the only ones I can think of would be, let's say, Mr. Gravola, Becky, they're not in a union.
That's correct.
So-
And you may or may not offer your manager and your administrators participation in the pension plan. The pension plan usually addresses who's eligible. I don't have that in front of me. I could look into that more, but that's not required.
I think it would be good if people were aware of who's all being covered by that statement, personally. I mean, it's not just a question of vested, going from 9 or 10 years down to 5. It's who's included. If it's only the public works, or is it any employee?
Or is it the administration? Is it the administration?
It's
Yeah.
administration.
They are you in that? They are in that. They are in that.
We're in the defined
I couldn't remember who else was
contribution.
in it, but I know it's.
Boomer's included in it, I believe, right?
I'm in the pension, yes. Because I was grandfathered.
So that answers your yes, so it does include administrative employees, so part
Right
of
now?
this pension
But
plan.
just to go a step further, I don't believe that the crossing guards are in
No,
the
no.
pension.
They may not.
Just because they're considered part-time, just so you know that.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's public works and administration.
Correct.
Okay, any other questions about any of the three ordinances? Anybody else? Any member of council? Okay, that concludes the public hearings. Thank you very much. This time, council can act on the motions.
So, motion to approve ordinance 1608, changing the vesting period for the non-uniform plan to 5 years of service. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second by Rich Bodadian. Questions on the motion? No questions? Are you allowed to vote on this? Because your son is in this, I don't know if it's a question.
No, that's good.
Greg, should Rich abstain?
I would recommend that he would, as a precaution. Yes.
So, thank you. So I need a second.
No.
I need a second. Jason made a motion. I need a second on this.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ondo. Any questions on the motion? I need all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
One abstention?
Abstain.
One abstention. All in favor, one abstention. Mr. Bodadian is abstaining, sorry. Motion number 12. Motion to approve ordinance 1609, providing a limited time incentive for those active police employees entitled to retire under the pension plan. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Dave, second.
I'll second.
Second by Rini Fry. Questions on the motion? Or no, I need a vote first and then a question, is that right? Question first, questions on the motion?
It's getting late.
This is the police, this is their early incentive, correct. Any other questions?
Just comment, and this was studied by the pension plan, which is very solvent, and they have said this is, a good move for us.
Absolutely. I believe all these dealing with the pensions have been worked through our actuary. So I need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All in favor. Motion 13, motion to approve ordinance 1610, amending the early retirement age to the participant reaching the age of 55 and has 30 years of service with the borough. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Jason. I need a second. No, well, no, you should abstain again.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rondo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One abstention? One abstention, Mr. Bodadine abstentions. Abstains, I'm sorry. Oh, I want to brush my teeth. Motion number 14. Motion to exonerate tax collector Donna McCurry in the amount of $249,768.03 from the 2021 real estate tax collection effective January 3rd, 2022. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rondo, second by Mr. Bodadine. Questions on the motion? I just have one quick question. Would the solicitor just tell us what this $249,000 exoneration is? And just briefly let the public know what this is doing.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do. This is routine, it happens in all municipalities. So the tax collector is tasked with collecting the real estate taxes for the year 2021. And almost without fail, nobody can collect 100% of the taxes for a number of reasons, although she does a very good job and collects a very high percentage. But at the end of the year, the taxes which she cannot collect are now past due and become delinquent. And so then the Borough Council turns them over to a delinquent tax collector, and then she turns her attention to collecting the 2022 taxes. But in order to make that transition, council has to exonerate her and saying, all right, you couldn't collect these, we have your records, we're going to take this uncollected amount, turn it over to our delinquent tax collector, you're done for 2021, now you start on 2022. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. So, I need a vote. All in
Can I
favor?
make a comment real quick?
Sure.
I think her percentage, I don't know if Becky knows, I think it's either 94 or 96%.
It's a high
94.
percentage.
So it's a high percentage, so the taxes collected are, this only represents, I think, probably only, between 4 and 6%
Yeah.
of taxes go delinquent in Munhall Borough, so her percentage is very high.
Thank you, Rob.
That's good.
So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And no nays. Motion to pay the bills for the period December 11th, 2021 through January 11th, 2022, summarized as follows. Do I read the summary?
Just tell her.
I just read the total? Okay, total being $356,563.56. You gotta pay the bills. Motion by Richard,
Second.
second by David. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All in favor? The ayes have it. So, we do have a lot of changes coming into the borough.
She's got one more.
One more?
There should be a first.
One more page, Rick.
Oh! Oh, thank you. I didn't see that page. Motion to approve payroll for the period of December 22nd and January 5th of 2022. This is an important motion. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Dave, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Fry. Any questions on the motion? I need a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes. Any public comments on anything that happened in the meeting tonight? Anyone just come in that has anything to say? Thank you for all attending.
Hold your peace.
I just have a couple comments to make, and council or mayor, if anyone has anything else they'd like to say. Mr. Fallon, his mother passed away this week. We give our sympathies to him. He is a councilman from Munhall. He served our town. We give his sympathies to him. I, on a personal basis, give my sympathies to my wife. She lost her mother this week as well. It's been a very hard week. Anyone knows who's lost a parent, it's not easy. And I thank you for the support everyone's given me and my family the last couple of days. So, thank you very much. It's nice to come from a small town where people know everyone, and everyone does support one another. And we may have our differences, but when it comes to the hard times, the people of Munhall support the people of Munhall. And that's one of the blessings of living in a small town. We might have our differences, but we can certainly go out and have a beer afterwards. So thank you all for support. I need a motion to adjourn. Question?
How is the search for a borough manager progressing?
Search for a borough manager is progressing. The last date will be Friday, that applications will come in. I spoke with the gentleman who's taking the applications. He has 4 recommendations already. 4 people have applied. And he'll wait till probably Monday or Tuesday, and we'll speak with him. That was another thing that we talked about in executive session. So we have 4 people that are applying. 3 of them have actual municipal service experience, and 1 does not. We also have several people that are applying for the open council seat. We have until the next council meeting to fill this. So if there's anyone interested, please send your interest to the borough office. You can email Becky. Anyone can call a councilman. We can get this into the office, and we'll make a decision on how we're going to do this. So we appreciate everyone who is applying, because you know what, it's a commitment to be a council person, and we'll try and choose the best person that we feel, and it will be a council decision. And any other questions?
That's an understatement.
That is an understatement. Yes.
And that person has 2 years left?
It'll be the remainder of Mr. Fallon's term, which would be 2 years as of this week, this past week. So
It'll go through,
It will be through-
23,
yeah.
That's what.
the end of 23.
Anything else? Thank you all for attending tonight. Bear with me. Next meeting, I'll try to get the ands, ifs, and buts much better. Again,
Are you thinking about changing the dates for these meetings to a Tuesday or Monday?
we are thinking of changing that. We've not gotten that down to a total date yet. Honestly, with everything that's happened in the past week and a half,
Yeah.
we've really been it's really been a trying time for everyone here. And if that does happen, we will advertise that and make it known and let people know that. Yes, sir.
Just a quick observation, this is a great decor. When I walked in here for the meeting, I mean, this is night and day, you know, so it's really nice, actually.
Thank you.
Professional, so.
Okay, do we have a motion and a second? Motion to adjourn? Motion. Second? Meeting adjourned.